This boat, it's got purpose. So I believe this 435 by Wellcraft has been designed specifically for people with a bit of a mission set in mind, someone who really knows what they want to do with their boat. Would you compare it with the Axopar 45? Well, sorta, but probably kind of not as well, and let me explain. This boat's a little bit heavier, noticeably heavier. She is very luxurious. She has two proper, decent cabins with separate toilets and separate stand-up showers. So the vibe that I get on this boat is a style that you would go fast to a nice destination, set up, be it in a marina, on anchor, or on a beach like we are just here, and really enjoy yourself for a couple of days. It's more of a boat that you're going to stay on board should you choose. So in this video, we're going to walk you right through the boat, and if you're interested in how she drives, well, we've just done that. We're at haul over, so we were out in the ocean. That's a separate video to this one. I'll leave a link to that at the end of this demonstration. My name's Dan Jones. You're watching Dan's Boat Life, and welcome to America. So we're actually now at Beer Can Island, actually. So we were at haul over, now we're at Beer Can Island. I love the name of that place, of this place. That's very cool. And welcome to the walkthrough. So we'll just start at the back of the boat, and I will do my best at demonstrating and showing you as much as we have just here before we go through and check out the cabins a little later in the video. But first things first, these drop-down wings, so they're electrically operated. They have a locking safety mechanism at the helm, so you're not going to damage any little kitty's fingers or toes when you operate them. And the up-down button just is workable from here. So you manually unlock, do the safety up, down, and you can drop down the wings. There is some drop-in safety poles with some grab rails that you can put in. I think they're ugly. If you want to use them, you go ahead and do that. Please yourself. But for I personally, beautiful warm place like this, I'll be running and jumping into the water. So that's really good to see. And it definitely expands your usable space on what is over a 43-foot LOA boat. Quite high sides, huge amount of volume, which we're going to see downstairs. But at this part of the boat, we're over the technical space because she's clearly an outboard boat. Let's come back and have a look at those before we make our way forward. So this boat runs with the triple V10 Merc 350s. So they're racked up on the back of the boat. We have the joystick operation, and they will trim fully out of the water. You got to lift this little thingamajiggy here to get the engines fully trimmed up and out of the water when you're packed up. And then this back seat here is actually fixed in place. So that's not movable. This is obviously giving us the structure to our seat, which we'll have a look at in a second. And this is also the base to a sunshade, which I'll cut to some shots of, that we can protect this whole rear area with vertical protection from the sun. And also there's a rear shade, which goes down the back as well and gives you some protection of an evening. Just here on the starboard side, we've got the diesel fill up. So that's for the Jenny. She comes standard with a Jenny and AC in the US. And then we've got our water just here. So that's your town water connection just there if you plug in at the marina. This is interesting. For those of you that don't know what this is, this will actually flush your outboard engine. So that'll cycle through a flush of one motor. When it's done with that, goes to the next, and then the next, and it shuts down. This is a slide-in kid and doggy door here. We've got a cleat here on the starboard side, and then we're moving onto the L-shape lounge just here. Now, there's a couple of cool things going on here. We've got the fold-up leaf table, which then has grab handles and drink holders here and here. I want you to pay attention to the angle of this seat. So Sunday morning, so hence the jet skis. Everybody speaks Spanish here. I wasn't expecting that. And I got to say that the music's quite a lot of fun, but I'm going to make a polite suggestion to my American friends. Just combine one song and all turn it up at the same time. There's like multiple songs going on here at the same time. It's quite amusing. But the backrest here has got a good angle. We've got quite amount of storage underneath. This one will flip up, which I've actually got the stern anchor in and some fenders and shoes. But over here, we've got a movable seat. So I've got that one just sitting there resting like so at the moment. So if you wanted to do al fresco dining, you can do this whole thing. But if you want to have more seating whilst you're underway, this will actually move to this location here, and then that will bolt into place. So that just gives more seating just here. And then if you look at the leg room, you know, a number of adults, 4 to 6 adults can all sit around here, still move. We've got some passageway space through here to go get to the barbie in the fridge, which we'll touch on in 1 second. Before I do, below me, this is access to the generator area. We've got the Seakeeper downstairs, all the batteries and all the systems. So it's all in the one space. This is the access, and then there's more technical access if you had to do that, get in there for more long-term, bigger maintenance if that was necessary. We have a shallow hatch just here. So this is gonna be okay for some ropes, fenders, fins, wet stuff, because it is drained. And then we also have a decent amount of storage underneath this back seat here that hinges up, and that's good for ropes and fenders as well. Just moving forward, we got a Corian bench top here on the port side, 3 drink holders. I've got some phone charging just in 2 USBs, and here's your barbie. So that's a Kenyan electric barbie off the Jenny. You've got the heat sensor and the protector just here. And then underneath the barbie, we've got an isotherm fridge, just one of these jobbies just here. So, cook, prepare yourself for all your barbie setup out here, but you've got more as you come inside. This is why I think this boat's gonna be catering very well to some of you who want to spend decent amount of times on board, because the sensation is quite lovely. So just pop that up, slide this across, and now we've got flow through. So just imagine if you're just here on this boat, say with a partner or 2 adult couples, you're going to be pretty well catered to. So just come in a little bit and just make sure you guys can see inside. I'll sit down and let you soak this up first. We've got the AC running. So I have another similarly sized table as what we saw on the back cockpit here in the saloon. And this one has the pop-up leaves. It's not a drop-down table. They're not going for an extra amount of sleeping because you've got 2 proper cabins downstairs. But we do have the 4 drink holders, grab handles. I've got a little bit of storage underneath here, which would be okay for life jackets. And then we've got more lockers overhead. So same again on that side. So that's going to be good for some pantry storage. And then you've got the AC vents from here and here, AC control there. And let's focus on the galley here on port. So this is all Corian. We do have a little ledge just here so things aren't going to slide out. Remember, we got the Seakeeper, so that's not really going to be a problem. Single stainless steel with the cover over the sink, hot and cold, light switches there. In here, you've got a bin and you've got some shelving, and then you've got alcohol storage in here. You've got a Millet oven, so if you want to bake some bread, oh, maybe it's a microwave. Maybe it's both. I don't actually know, because it looks like an oven, but I think it's maybe a microwave. We'll find out. Good storage. Okay, we've got water in there now, but that might also be good for serving platters because it's shallow and wide. So I think you'd probably put cutting boards and serving platters in there. You've got cutlery in here. There's another decent fridge in here. And then we've got some workbench space just up above us, just here. Grab handle and a flat screen TV, logically facing this area. But I think by the looks of it, yeah, it'll angle out. So if you want to watch some sport and the temperature is suitable, you got to watch the cricket, you can face it that way from your aft seat just there. Storage up above, speakers just here and here. And then before we get to the helm, just have a look up. You have really beautiful views through this fixed glass window, but we're in Florida, similar to Australia, it gets hot. So you can knock down the light with this function here, but you can also slide this across and get rid of the light. So if you've got a bald spot and you haven't put any sunscreen on your head, just do that and you'll be okay. Same for over here. So that kind of works. We've got some nice finishings. That's not leather, that's a textured finish on the roof before we come down to the timber. And the floor, this has the optional woolen carpet. It is quite nice underfoot. So I think I've covered all that there. Let's just start to focus on the helm and forward before we go downstairs. Got another deep pantry storage. So we've got food in there at the moment, but I might consider just some safety grab bag items, small items in that area just there should it be needed. AC, footrests, drink holders, phones. You're really not wanting for anything just here. Before I go forward, I better point out the other footrest. So we got this set up in sleep on the lounge mode, but if you did want to bring those people inside here to eat with the air conditioning, do you remember on the 355 there was a movable seat here? It's basically a similar vibe to this one. It's designed to fit in quite snugly, so when you're in a seaway it's not going to move, but it basically just slides out there, and this is now just a loose footstool puffy thing. So now you can still set up, boom boom, 2 people could have a proper meal here. If you're doing 4 people sitting with plates, you might want to have some out there, some here, but drinks, not a problem. So that's good. Just remember that's straight up there, so put a couple of throw cushions in there to give yourself some lower back support, and it's going to be quite comfortable. Okay, so come in, let's focus on the Helm. First thing, I'm not going to open it because all the Latin music out there is probably get distracting. We've got this sliding opening door just here on starboard, and it's a decent size. I'll get out of there so you can just have a look and appreciate that. You really just have to duck your head a little bit to step out and access the side decks, and then you also have the opening starboard door just there. So stepping out on starboard and midships, that door swings inwards and you can step straight out. Just pay attention to open it from this position. I wouldn't open it from aft of the door because then your transit space to move forward, you would actually have to climb over it. There's not enough space in the companionway to move with ease. So I would just open it from here, which seems logical. Okay, let's focus on the Helm. This is a real standout. This is very, very nice. They've also got some fancy blue lights, which we're not going to be able to show you being daytime, which illuminate the surrounds of this whole dash, and it looks super, super cool. But we've got facility for 2 flat screen displays just there. I've got AC at the dash. I've got drink holders on either side. My throttle is set back from the wheel. It does feel like it's proper race mode on this boat. We actually have the multifunction display in the wheel, so you can turn the wheel and you can still do things like music, windscreen wipers, etc. from here, but then you have all your regular boat systems just here. So just going from left to right, I've got bilge pump, I've got spotlight, I have some phone charging just here. You could lay your phones down just here. I've got my digital diagnostics there, bow thruster, mentioned the 2 displays. I've got over here, this is the lock for operating or unlock the drop down wings. Then we can bridge the batteries, that's going to be lights. And then we've got a zip wake just here to starboard of the wheel. We've got our emergency kill switch just next to the throttle there. You're not really going to need that because where you're going to fall, you're going to hit glass, but it's there. The keys are in a good position. Pay attention, if you want to put your feet up in a seaway, you're not going to hit the keys. Same on this side, your knee's going to be over here. Some boats, they mount keys in an awkward position. I have actually accidentally turned boats off before when I've just put my knee up and knocked the key. So it's just something you want to pay attention to, particularly if you've got long legs, which I don't, but if you do. Grab handle just here, leather just here, adjustable wheel, and 2 footsteps. So from a standing position, let's just get the camera up and look forward from my eye line. I'm 5'7". This is what I see. So let's now just go up a little bit or have a look at my head. If you're 6 foot plus, you still have room above me. But if you're a really, really tall guy, you're probably going to need to increase your head height by using this extra 6+ inches we have to the sunscreen. Now, if that is you, make sure you've got sunscreen on your head if you're bald. But if not, just wear a hat. Now, the seats just here, we've got the double bolsters. So 1, 2, I like having 2 because I can then do my own thing while the navigator doesn't interrupt me. But if I'm on a long drive and got the boat on autopilot, I'm probably going to be sitting back in this position just observing rather than actively driving. When I'm actively driving, I suspect I'm going to be in the standing position because me personally, I found that more comfortable. You do you, but if you need more room, just, can you see this? We got fold down Dan steps. So I'm going to call them Dan steps because it gives me the extra height I've always wanted. So now this is 6 foot down. So I've actually got a good amount of visibility out. I can see down and around. The only thing you need to pay attention to if you're doing hard turns to port, we demonstrate this in the test drive, that roof line will drop down. It's not a problem. You just check forward before you hook it into an aggressive turn, which you should be doing already if you're driving a high performance boat. That's just sort of part and parcel of being sensible behind the helm. Now, I'm just going to have a look under here. We do have a little locker underneath the helm just there, which is good for more safety grab bag items. VHF as well, and then we've got a window going down into the cabin below. No window on that side. And then the final thing before we move, just pay attention to the color of the dash. Because we've got dark colors here, we're not going to get reflections back in our face when the light is in the wrong conditions or the right conditions to cause reflections and possibly make it dangerous for you. So that is a bit of a safety thing. It was noticeable as the sun was rising this morning and we were operating in those kinds of conditions. The other thing I want to point out, the windscreen wipers, they take off from the bottom. If you have the windscreen wipers that take off from the top, as many of these style of boats do, when you go through waves, the windscreen wipers will actually depart from the windscreen and they'll bounce around a little bit, and it makes them a little bit less functional. So just pay attention to that. This one should work a little bit better in a seaway. Okay, so all leather wrapped. We're going to go down. Into the master. You've got a grab handle on port as you go down, just 4 steps, and there is actually storage underneath those steps. But come in here and just check this out. Ugh. So it really is very nice. We've got the blinds down. I'll pop this one up just so you can see your window. Look at that. Just imagine waking up here in the morning and just being able to appreciate whatever views you've designed for yourself for the day. But we have more storage and these overhead lockers similar to what we saw in the Saloon. We got really good styling in terms of the leather wrap around the ledges, which is always going to be useful for putting phones and bits and pieces. You can sit up in this bed. There's enough space. We got the reading lights. They've even got the charging USB sockets for your phone underneath all those reading lights, and then a place for your phones and wallets inside this little ledge here next to each bed. Super neat, well laid out, air conditioning and stereo control over there on port. But on starboard, we've got our own private head, which I'm going to get to in 1 second. And then proper hanging on, I better just show you. Can you see in there? So proper hanging locker just there, and full stand-up mirror so you can check yourself out before you go out for the day. Little, I don't know what you can do with this space. Put remote controls. I guess that's what you do down here. Remote controls, more alcohol. Okay, there's more booze storage just in case you get thirsty between here and the Saloon. This is the access to the master head, but it's got its own separate shower. So just come in here, look at the head height. Plenty. The shower head is fixed, but you can remove it and move it around. You've got your space for your soaps. You can sit down, and a proper shower door. Then we have a freshwater electric flush toilet just here with holding tank, storage 1, 2, 3, sink, fixed mirror, little soap thingamajiggy. I don't know where you put your toothbrushes, probably under here. And then you got a little ledge there. The dual electric flush, so you can do pump, water, then little towel rack just there. And these blinds are all the way around the boat, I might add. Some opening ports as well. So from here, you go out this door, pay attention to the rubber seals on the door, so you're going to stop too much sound traveling through. I just want to show you underneath these stairs. I reckon that's a good place for one of those Dyson electric vacuum cleaners. That's a good storage place, and a dustpan maybe, because if you've got this woolen carpet, it's probably going to be handy. I'm going to take you straight down into the guest accommodation, which could even feel like another master, before we have a look at the second head. So just check this out. It's full beam. Okay, we don't have stand-up headroom, but this lounge could actually sleep a kid. I reckon. There's that much space down here. We've got the AC control up on the forward bulkhead. We have a TV just there. We've got this really nice finishing with the down lights. We've got the drawers next to the bed just here. Different textured material here so things won't slide off. The reading lights on both sides and a third one over here. So I probably actually would use this as an emergency bed if it was required. There is a little bit of storage underneath this bed. There's some systems as well, but underneath half of this bed, there's storage, which I think would be suitable for things like the foam extra life jackets, things that you're not going to get to from day to day because you do have to lift the mattress to get into there. Textured finish with backlighting on the roof, nice timber, mirrors, material fabric for the couch, and we're mirroring this window on that side, but I've got the blind down on the port side just so you can see what it's like. And then we also have these hanging lockers, which are good for sports coats and things that you're going to need for a couple of days away. And on the port side, we have another one just next to the TV, just over here. Same again. So you've got his and hers storage, that TV just there with a little ledge here for the remote controls. And then as we make our way forward, you've actually got your control panel just here. So that ship's control system is a really neat Wellcraft feature, which will show you up on, or cut to some shots up on the display. That'll actually let you cycle through battery management, power management, genset on and off, lights on and off, and it's all in a quite easy to use display up at the helm. And we've got our fusion just here. We've got some more systems like pressure water, power for the navigation, and raw water as well. This is all our batteries on and off just here, and then that is also power for the genset just there. Okay, so another toilet. Just get in there and have a quick look. So pay attention to the fact that this one also has a separate shower. That's where this boat really stands out from some of the competition, having these two proper toilets and a separate shower, and all of this storage on either side. So you can do your toiletries bags, you can hang some towels, you got your big fixed mirror there, and a proper shower with a marble finish, which is quite luxurious. I think that's really one of the standout features. Come on, let's go up to the bow, and I think we'll wrap this video when we get up there. A couple more drink holders just to point out as I make my way forward. There is down lighting with the overhang of the roof, so that allows the boat to look sexy at night time. There's also underwater lights as well. Drop up or pop down cleats all the way around the boat. I don't know what this is for. You can store something. I'm not actually too sure what it's for. We've got some mood lighting. This is what I was talking about. See how it's a little bit hard to transit forward? That's why I would probably operate it when I come from the helm, unless you got skinny legs. Coming up a couple of steps just here, onto the bow. This is a lovely place to hang out, guys. So we've got this lounge here, which is super cushy, heaps of space, but you probably, because of the design of the windscreen, you're not going to lie on the windscreen like you would have, say, on your old Sea Rays or something. So Wellcraft have thought of that. They have built in some little backrests. How cool is that? So 2 on each side, and then we've also got a table which will drop in here, and then we have this opposite facing cushion just here, so 4 people can also sit down up here on the bow. So just picture this. We've got sleeping for 4 plus 5 if you have to, but we've got internal seating in the saloon for 4 very comfortably. We've got external seating out the back for 4 as well, and then we've got seating for 4 just here. So that group of 4 can make their way around very, very comfortably without without any stress. Obviously you can have more than 4 people, but I just wanted to let you know. Okay, so up here we've just got some waste out. That's going to be for the head, water in. We've got our forward facing LED light bar. Now, where what's that? What's that animal? Let's point the camera just over there. What is that? I've never seen one of them before.
Baby raccoon.
We don't get them in Australia. Do they bite? Yeah. There you go. Sorry, there you go. I'm enjoying America. There's all these strange new things that I haven't seen before. And some of the trucks you guys have are awesome. I've seen some boats behind four-wheel drives that would just not be legal in Australia. I think it's fantastic. So, this light here, if I was running in Maine with all the lobster pots they have there and it's getting dark and getting wintry, I would really see some value in having one of these. I remember when I filmed this in Sydney, I just couldn't think of any functional use for it. But now that I've been up northern part of America and seen how they boat and all the lobster pots, if you're coming up a channel and you've lost light, sure, radar's going to tell you if there's other boats or land, but you're not going to see the lobster pots. That's where this will be really, really valuable. So it's got a good functional use for some of you guys. Drink holders on either side. We got our anchor locker just up here on the bow, and also picture yourself having a good time of an evening. They've also catered to that because we have pop-up lights on both sides just there, and here are the bases for our sunshade, which can completely protect this bow area with a mesh sunshade, similar to the mesh that we had at the back. The anchor can also be operated from the bow. We did that this morning, or from the helm. A couple of speakers, got the footwell, decent drain there if you've got any water up the front, navigation lights, and also pay attention to the design of the railing, how it pops down at the front. I think that's really just styling. I don't see a huge functional use to that, but I think it looks cool, and you've got facility for the flagpole up the front for the Wellcraft flag. We're not finished. Let's head up to the roof, because I think many of you guys are going to value kayaking, sup boarding, foil boarding, etc. And Wellcraft have catered to that because we've got proper roof racks. And see these bars, crossbars here, they actually move. You can actually slide them forward and aft. So depending on the size of your equipment that you need to mount up here, you can adjust these appropriately, so then you can strap them in place safely. So we can just see the actual sunroof part of it, which is the forward glass. So that's the moving sunroof just there. And then we see the fixed glass aft, which we pointed out from inside. Obviously we've got the cool radar. Had to have that on for you this morning because it looks cool. You don't have to have it. You can just have a regular fixed one as well. We've got the two Garmin domes. We've got the spotlight, the all-round white, the two VHFs on the mast. It doesn't fold down that I can see. That looks fixed. So if you do have some bridge height issues, pay attention. Get that height off your dealer. You might have to do away with it if you've got to get under a low bridge. Got the proper horn, and then we have our flagpole at the back and our aft-facing camera, which I do see that being useful to you in a parking scenario, because you can't see the motors from the helm. So I would actually have that in place. From an operational perspective, it's just going to be a little bit easier, because if you see the height here and where you are at the helm, you're not going to see the engines. So that camera being mounted right here solves that problem for you. So I think that's quite logical, quite sensible. A couple other things that I need to point out. We've got the shore power retract system just here on the port side. So that's for those big shore power cables that you have here in America. And we have our hot and cold swim shower just here. We've got a fold out ladder or emergency ladder underneath here, but a proper fixed sexy one, which deploys here on the port side. And I'd probably be using that when I'm actually doing some social swimming. And I think you could probably also mount that same ladder right here, which would also be quite enjoyable and seems like it's the logical place to put it. Okay, so I'm going to show you the equipment space underneath me. Before I do, the fuel in is here on starboard. So that just pops up there. 1, 2, 3 tanks, center and 2 wing tanks, each tank for each engine. So you don't need to worry about transferring fuel or anything like that, unless you've just been driving on one engine, I guess. But in here, got the Jenny running. You go down this step, there are lights for this space, 1, 2, 3, and I've got diesel gen set, and then I've got the Seakeeper below, tank, 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 and pass me the camera, I'll bring you guys down with me. And here is a feeling for the space. You've got the hydraulics, aft, And then over the fuel tank just here, some storage, which is good for fenders. Okay, so I'll close that hatch up. So that's the boat, guys. I think, come in here and we'll sit down and have a yarn. I think she's a specific piece of kit, this boat. I think she's a fun, exciting piece of kit for many of you. So if you have come from a big, open, multi-engine, center console, day style boat, and you're thinking further, or if you come from a smaller boat and you're thinking, I want to expand my boat lifestyle by adding some serious holidays into what I do, be it Sydney to Pittwater, Nelson Bay, be it Auckland to the Bay of Islands, be it Miami to Key West, Maine, Vancouver Island to North, wherever you are, if you want to go fast, if you want to stay on board in comfort with your partner and another couple or more for the day, this is going to be a great boat for that specific mission set. So check it out is what I would say. If you want to see how it drives, we have just done that. Just off the offshore at Hallover Inlet. It's a separate video. Click on the link coming up on the screen right now. My name's Dan Jones. You've been watching Dan's Boat Life. Don't forget to like, subscribe, support the Patreon if you can, and I'll see you over in the next video. Thanks, guys.